Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
All right, Mike D, Everything's Pro Wrestling podcast back here today. A very special guest joining us, one QT Marshall. Thank you so much for joining us today, brother.
How are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing very good. Holiday season, so it's been just been crazy busy, but I'm sure you know a lot about that as the vice president of show and creative coordination with AEW. Lot going on in AEW right now. But first, I want to say, how are you doing? How was the holiday season for you as somebody in such a crazy business, where you're on the road all the time? Is this just an even crazier time of the year for you with the holidays?
Yeah, a little bit, but it comes with it, and it is what it is. There's nothing we can really do about it. So I try to just look at the positives of everything. And one of the positives is that we have a great weekend coming up of wrestling, and we'll be done on Sunday, and then really don't have to report back to work until Friday. So that kind of gives us a bunch of days off. So very thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know definitely at AEW from some of the other wrestlers I've been able to talk to, it seems as if there's a very good balance, work-life balance when it comes to being able to have time for yourself. So, that's definitely got to be a positive, especially this time of the year.
Yeah, I think that's we get a lot of people talking about how big our roster is, but that's one of the best parts is that we do have so much talent out there that, we're able to, if we need a week off, very easy to, have somebody else take a TV spot. You know what I mean? So, and Tony's really good about that. So that's great.
That's awesome. And as far as your role goes, it's been a kind of a wild, if you look back in the last 365 days of QT Marshall in AEW, it's been kind of crazy, right? But being in this executive position, I know prior to last year when you kind of left for a few months and then came back, did you anticipate something like this, at this point in your career where that's kind of been your main role with the company?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of rumors and innuendo of why I left last year, but no one actually just asked me. It wasn't a lot to do with being in the ring. I like to be in the ring. I like to have fun. But Tony lets us do that, right? Even if it's a non-televised match, every now and then I just like to get in the ring, and I always say this, get bounced around a little bit. It was a lot more than that, and it was changing that, perspective. But yeah, AEW is my home. It's always been my home. When I left, I was, we talked about that, and when I came back, that was one of the things we spoke about as well. So yeah, I've always seen myself in this role and being Tony's right hand man, and like I said, being gone for a month and coming right back, I kind of within the first few months kind of went right back into that, and it was about coming back. If I wanted to wrestle, what would that situation look like? And that's where this whole Big Boom AJ thing and the Costco guys came in. Okay, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get a chance to, to get a little bit of selfishness in there as well. And we told that story and played it out for everybody, but it also helped the company as well. And I feel like that is my job. It's always been my job. And it's a detriment when I'm in the ring because, I have to look for the company's, well-being first. First time around, that's really what I did, which didn't really help me as much as I probably could have. And, I was talking to Tony about that. And so now we have a really good balance, that's what you need. You just need good balance. And we're able to have that now. And it leads to tomorrow night at Final Battle versus, the greatest first generation wrestler in Ring of Honor history against Jay Lethal. So pretty excited about it. And I think after this match, maybe it'll lead to another opportunity. But it's just about finding those opportunities that have that balance of being good for the company, but also being good for myself. Because at 39 years old, I have 6 screws in my neck. My body's been through a lot. I just can't go out there and just get bounced around for nothing, So if I could do something good for the company, but also good for me personally and professionally, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
And how much of that do you think it being this point in your career, right? Like you said, you mentioned you're 39, which by no means in normal human life is that old, but in
even
wrestling,
in wrestling nowadays, it's not. It used to
it really
be,
isn't.
No, it's really not. And I think if I look at the way I look, from 5 years ago to now, people always joke about this glow up that I've had. in my group chats, and it's like, wow, he looks completely different. So maybe I found the fountain of youth. I don't know. It's because I'm not wrestling as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off though.
No. I mean, that's a valid point.
Mm.
Like you said, it is at the point now where I think, the business is just in a very good place when it comes to the health and, like prioritizing your personal
Sure.
health. So it's allowed us to have some incredible runs from guys in their late 30s into their 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, even Sting's final run, I don't
Yeah.
think you could have written that any better.
Oh, no. And I mean, like I said, I think one of the other things is pressure. This, I don't take it for granted, but at the end of the day, I do decently for myself with my, vice president position.
Hmm.
Um, would I like to get further along in the ring? Of course. But at the end of the day, it's about having fun and not, mentally killing yourself, and stressing over what's next for me and all of these things. And like I said, I've been able to personally and professionally find that balance. And so for me, I'm in a good spot. And I think last year maybe I wasn't in the best spot, but at the same time, like I said, AEW's always been my home, and I'm excited to be back. And Ring of Honor in 2012, that was the first major company I signed to. It wasn't the best experience first time around, and this is like a big thing for me. Final Battle 2012, I was relegated to being a manager for somebody that now works for us, RD Evans. And for me now to go back for 12 years later and get to wrestle at Final Battle in the Hammerstein Ballroom, especially against a guy like Jay Lethal, who was like the franchise of Ring of Honor. It's a full turnaround story for me, and like I said, for me, everything now is more of a you know something that I think I need mentally, right? Like this is closure for me now to go back to Ring of Honor and kind of get to do these things. So I'm excited for it.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned it, Jay Lethal, when talking about guys that maybe are underappreciated, he has to be towards the top of the list. I mean, his work with Ring of Honor and, I know TNA back in the day, and he has one of the greatest promo battles of all time with Ric Flair when he was
Yeah,
impersonating him.
yeah,
My buddies and I, we went through like a 3-year span where like we would pregame to go out and we would watch that promo specifically to go like line for line with them because it was just amazing.
yeah. Get into it.
The elbow
Yeah,
drop on the ramp. It was just
yeah,
incredible. So where's your head at for Final Battle? I mean, that's got to be, like you said, it's full circle, but
yeah.
another Ring of Honor legend. It's going to be incredible.
So I'm super excited. I mean, the way I presented this to my boss was Black Machismo, right? Has an action figure in Ring of Honor.
Hmm.
And I think seeing Black Machismo in the Hammerstein Ballroom is something that could be really cool. I don't know if he's gonna do it, but I've really been pushing those buttons a little bit. Um, After I was able to do what I did with the whole Doom stuff, I'm trying to I'm going to keep the Doom stuff going because I like it, but
Hmm.
also I'm trying to relate it to whoever I'm in the ring with. So tomorrow night, you're going to see a lot of me that doesn't look like the normal QT. Macho Man Randy Savage is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and and wanting the chance to be able to do something that makes me have fun as well as treat this like it is, which is very serious professional wrestling match as well. I'm excited. I got my my what I would consider my machismo is
Hmm.
going to show up tomorrow night, and I'm pretty excited about it. I just got all my gear yesterday, and like I said, and then my goal is to tear the house down. Right, is to do what I did with Big Boom AJ, but this time on a different level for a different audience, more of a hardcore audience, more of a more critical audience, right? And to prove to them that, man, this guy QT surprises us every time. And
Yeah.
I know I have that in me. And now we're with Ring of Honor not being AEW. I'm not the vice president of Ring of Honor. I'm
Right.
not the backstage, one of the bosses in Ring of Honor. So now I could just go out there and have some fun. And who knows? Maybe I'll be a full-time Ring of Honor roster member, and then there's zero conflict that I have to worry about.
I mean, it's such a crazy thing to think about being an executive in one major wrestling company, right? And then being able to compete in another major wrestling company. This multiverse of wrestling, as it is in 2024, you talk about 2012 being in Ring of Honor and now this being full circle. Could you imagine this in 2012, like being able to just do
No,
this?
No, absolutely not. And I mean, that was one of the things when I did come back and spoke to Tony was, hey, what if I don't wrestle at AEW, but I can wrestle for whoever else, right? And it was like, was the TNA. And obviously, with them having a relationship with the other company, it's a little harder. So then when Scott D'Amore started Maple Leaf Wrestling, it was like, okay, well, I could do that. I could still do AAA. I could do CMLL if I want. I could do New Japan, right? Doing AEW, wrestling for AEW is a little bit harder for me because it's again, we have a loaded roster, a lot of huge stars. Maybe there's a spot once in a while. I don't know. I haven't really. Well, besides Big Boom AJ, I haven't really crossed that bridge, and I'm okay not doing it right now. Right? If
Mhm.
anything, I have my gear. It's with me every week. If they need me, they know where to find me. But for me, it's really about, okay, how can I have some fun, do something good for the company, but also, um, get a little bit out of it for me professionally, right? I think, like I was saying before, like you just need that balance, and I've been able to find it. I'm healthier, I'm happier, I'm in such a great place. And unfortunately for Jay Lethal, his Ring of Honor return is not going to be the best. So
The machismo, man. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah,
I was looking down here because I have, I know the hot topic this year, or one of the hot topics this year for you was action figures. Okay. And
yes.
I think it's super dope, your action figure. I need one, by the way. Um,
Sure, sure.
so I
I got
went
a lot of them left.
perfect. I will be purchasing. Don't you
Yeah.
worry. Because I went by my mom's house recently, actually, and I,
Okay.
I I did some digging and I found some gems here. So, uh, I had a buddy who made. We do this thing every year, Halloween Havoc. We all dress up
Sure.
as superstars from the past. I dressed up as
Yeah.
Hollywood Hogan one year, and my
Okay.
buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get a good glimpse
Yeah.
of
Oh
that. It's
yeah.
not zooming in there.
That's okay. I can see.
You want to know the sad part is he used because I'm not the biggest guy in the world. He used James Ellsworth as the
That's
uh
good.
the figure to make me. So there you go. That I do have a chin. I don't know why he used him.
That's nice.
I have Jericho here,
Okay.
a classic Jericho. So I have some
Yeah.
some AEW. This is supposed to be Adam Copeland. I don't know what they were thinking when they made it. I don't know. I can't get this thing
Okay.
to zoom in
Yeah, that's
here.
okay. That's okay. I know that action figure. That's a yes. I know that one very well.
Billy Gunn,
Yeah, my
okay,
friend.
of course, the
Yeah.
legend, and yeah, and then we got Sting. This one I had, I must have had a match with some blood. He had some blood there on the face. I had to
Sure.
draw onto Crow Sting.
Okay. Okay.
So action
Yeah.
figures are a thing here, and then of course your old buddy.
There he is. Yeah. Yeah. He's handed me down, bestowed the diamond cutter to me that no one was happy about except me. But,
Screw everybody else
that's
because
right.
it came from the man himself. So
Came from him. We have a lot in common, 35 years old, getting a break, being the hardest worker at the local training facility, being from New Jersey, the Jersey Shore. There's a lot we have in common. And DDP is very close with me and I really appreciated him reaching out and like I said, bestowing that upon me and also as a antagonist in professional wrestling, I think it's even better. To be able to have I make sure the commentators they QT cutter. No, it's the diamond cutter bestowed from Diamond Dallas Page himself.
hell yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, it can't get bigger than that. I do want to wrap with one thing, but just while we're on the
sure,
subject, DDP, I mean, his interview he did recently talking about Lex Luger, and then we
sure.
recently saw the video with Butterbean. Just give us a quick anecdote on DDP Yoga, what he does for the boys, in just what he means as a whole to wrestling.
So I'm not, I don't physically go heal people like Dallas does, but
Right.
I am a firm believer. If you help as many people as you can, it will all come back tenfold. And my first run in Ring of Honor, I was not about helping anybody but myself. And then I broke my neck. A lot of things happened. I had neck surgery. I thought I was done wrestling, moved down to Georgia, opened a wrestling school, and I said I was going to help every single person I possibly could get to the next level. And it's funny because what happened was I got to the next level while still helping people get to the next level, right? Anna J, one of my students from day one, before Nightmare Factory, just tore it up with Mercedes Monet
Last
last
night,
night.
yeah.
And what a great feeling as a mentor, as a coach. So sometimes it's not just about you, right? And you could still get that same rush, that same feeling watching somebody that you've mentored or you've helped find happiness and success. And I think that Dallas is he's the leader when he's the guru when it comes to that. And I've tried to follow in those footsteps. And it's not about me, but at the same time, it becomes about you when you put yourself out there and really try to help everybody else. So it's one of the best guys in professional wrestling. He is a lot, if once you're in with Dallas, you're in with Dallas. But other than that, like I said, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and one of the hardest working. And he really proved that hard work truly does pay off. So
Yeah, and he was another guy that came on late in his career, later in age, if you will, for his rise to
yeah.
stardom. So that was, and that was before guys were doing that. So that was
Yeah,
even
I
more
look at that
impressive.
photo. I look at that photo of him holding that world title, and I don't think about it. Like, man, it could be done. It's just about how much you want to put the work in. And like I said, for me, it's more about balance right now at this moment. But never say never.
Absolutely, man. Never say never. It's a good way to look at things. And let's wrap with one of the biggest feuds of the year. Videos have gotten crazy engagements across social media. The Costco guys, Big AJ. I know you guys go way back. So how did this even kind of begin? And I know they're crazy viral, but did you anticipate sort of the reaction that you would have gotten after the match?
Yeah, yes and no. I knew that it was going to be good for AEW. There was going to be good promotion, so on and so forth. It would touch a different audience. I was very pleased that most of those people showed up for the show live in person and had a great time. They lost themselves in the moment. AJ did phenomenally well. This is something that once I saw, and Sanjay brought it up to me about bringing him in to do some videos, and I knew AJ's a wrestler. And deep down, if I could convince him to get back in the ring, we could really create some magic, and we did. And like I said, was it the same match that you would see on an AEW show all the time? No, and I think that's why it worked. Um, I am very old school in my in-ring psychology, I guess you could say. And luckily I am, because that really helped out a lot. We were
Mm.
able to tell a good story from beginning to end, the way the whole thing started and the way it ended. And I'm very pleased with it. And I thought the live fans in attendance were very pleased with it. I thought the critical fans on the internet, on Twitter, X, Kate, they were happy with it. I mean, I received more text messages that night from high people, like upper people in the wrestling industry, from every major company, with nothing but praise. And some professional wrestlers in our company that I probably really don't even speak to that much unless it's just business related,
Hmm.
and just how much they enjoyed it and how much fun they had. And it was really good for them to kind of get to see that professional wrestling still does have a place, even in a place like AEW. So yeah, couldn't have been more than pleased. Like I said, it did exactly what it was intended to do, and then some. And you know, uh, speaking of action figures, Tony called me the next day and he was super pleased, and he told me that I'll be getting an action figure in
Hell
AEW.
yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I got to probably stay on everybody about it, but at the same time, that's one of the perks of working behind the scenes as well. But no, like I said, it was one of the best things we could possibly do. Um, and I think it was frowned upon a little bit by some of the real critical fans. But at the end of the day, like I said, once they got lost in the moment, had a great time, they realized what it was doing. So very happy for it. And it led me to this next match. And I think if I could do something again with Jay Lethal, going back to Ring of Honor for himself and so on and so forth, then maybe it leads to another opportunity. You know, so for me, like I said, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for tomorrow night, Hammerstein Ballroom, final battle. Man, just that atmosphere is going to be absolutely insane. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for them to boo me out of the building, just like they did years ago. And but by the end of it, I think there's going to be I'm going to get more text messages. Let's put it that way. At least that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it with the first one, with Big AJ, and turning that into, like you said, this match with Jay Lethal, final battle tomorrow night in a legendary venue. It's gonna the visuals are gonna be amazing. Are you? Is it possible one of the things that you hope to continue after tomorrow night is going to be more with Big AJ? Because I know you guys go back, fellow New Jersey guys. Did you know him from like the independent scene, or were you guys just like?
Yeah, no. His last match and his last show for the local independent wrestling company was my first. And he kind of passed the torch to me, and I was taking his spot, and we just always stayed in touch. And maybe there's more meat on the bone. I'm not sure. I personally believe maybe he could go on to some higher level athletes in AEW, just due to the fame and but you never know. I think he's comfortable with doing business with someone like me because of that personal relationship. And who knows, maybe we tag, you never know. Never say never. Let's put it that way. But he told me he might come to Hammerstein Ballroom this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Never say never.
Never say never, man. QT Marshall. I love that. I love that'll be the title of the interview right there. Never say never.
Never say never, man.
Perfect. Final battle, Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal. It goes down tomorrow night. Final words, as far as the audience who can't be there in attendance personally, for the viewing audience at home.
I mean, check it out, log in, sign up, stream it, Honor Club, watch ROH.com, whichever way you're going to do it. And then just stay subscribed, man. There's so much content on that. I mean, I just went back yesterday and I was watching some of my old stuff, right? So there's just so much content on that app. And you could really relive the history of Ring of Honor and get yourself ready for a Final Battle and all of our events, and watch Ring of Honor weekly. And like I said, I mean, I was never a huge fan of Ring of Honor before I got there, and now I am. And watching that style and just the athletes that were coming through Ring of Honor. I mean, I was saying this before as well, like AEW Ring of Honor is kind of like a really high-end developmental brand for them. So you're going to get to see some of these professional wrestlers that maybe 2 years from now could be, AEW world champion. You never know. So definitely check it out. Like I said, the atmosphere, you'll be able to feel it right through the screen. So like I said, I'm excited for it. The fans should be excited for it. Athena and Billy Starks are going to absolutely kill it. Matt Cardona is going to come in there, and I feel like he's just going to blow the roof off the place. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm just super excited to be a part of it, and can't wait.
We can't wait either, man. It's such a great time to be a wrestling fan. So many ways to consume professional wrestling. So tomorrow night, if you're new, if it's your first introduction to Ring of Honor, tomorrow is a great time to start Final Battle going down. QT Marshall, thank you so much. How many booms would you give this interview?
Man, you know me, I give it a doom.
Doom. How many dooms?
Yeah, I give it 5 dooms. So it's like doom, 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 doom.
Dome. Perfect. I love that. I'll take that and run with it, man. Appreciate it. QT Marshall, thank you so much for your time, brother, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.